Future Wrestling Podcast right back here for not just the return of the Great Debate, but the return of James Hebert. And the reason I contacted James to do this show is because there's positives and there is negatives going in around the world, and not just in WWE, but in pro wrestling general. And I know James will agree with me on that one. James, welcome, sir, to the Future Wrestling Podcast and the Great Debate.
Thank you for having me. I didn't even expect I'd do this, to be truthful with you, but I think you brought a good case to me, so I'm like, whatever, here I am, let's do it.
Yeah,
why not,
do it.
you know?
And like I said, there is positives, there is negatives, and not just WWE, but we also want to break down the controversial video that you created on your channel, but we're not here to talk mainly on that. We're talking what positives came out of that video and what negatives you can also say, right?
Well, I mean, first, I think the negatives obviously were that I looked like a bitch. I mean, I could be the first one to admit that. Have been the first one to admit that. You know, it didn't look good at all. I should have, if I was gonna do a video, I should have taken a day to mentally do a video, like, to make sure I would be okay with doing it instead of just doing it, like, not thinking. So that's the negative that kind of came out of it. Well, I mean, but the positive that did come out of it was that I can think instead of acting, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's always that's the positive I got out of that. And if I don't enjoy something that much, to just not say much about it. So that's what I chose to do. I mean, those are probably the two positives. But the biggest negative was that I looked like a bitch. So, I mean,
well, I would never say that you are one, but
I never said I would be one either. I just said I looked like one.
Yeah,
because I did. So there you go. I mean, everyone like has this whole manly, but we all cry, but it should be in the privacy. You know what I mean? Like, not for people to fucking see on the internet.
Yeah.
That's basically what I learned.
Eric from the Broski actually put, the video I put out was the biggest positive. That's what he
It kind of was. I'll be honest. That was fucking hysterical. And I actually went back a week ago and like watched that, and just to laugh, because I was fucking bored and I had nothing to do. So I was like, I'll watch this. Why not?
Okay.
So
I'll be honest with you. I just watched it before you came in the Skype call.
Yeah, fair enough. Know what you were dealing with.
Well, like I said, we're not just here to talk about WWE, but I want to talk about what positives the WWE main roster has compared to the negatives elsewhere in other promotions. But first, thank you again, James, for coming on the Future Wrestling Podcast, and go ahead and let everybody know how they can check you out and all that good stuff.
Well, even though it's kind of dormant right now, you can check me out on YouTube at JHebertSide95. I might actually post a video relatively soon. It's give or take, it all depends. But that's at youtube.com/user/JHebertSide95. But all my focus right now is on another YouTube channel and/or wrestling show called Weymouth Youth Wrestling, which you could check out at youtube.com/user/WYW Pride. It's a CIW wrestling league that we try to emulate, editing wise anyway, what a wrestling promotion would look like, and kind of have the backstory of like we came from the ground up, which is kind of true if you really think about it. So if you guys want to check out a CIW league, go check it out.
Yeah, and if you guys aren't too familiar with what he does, for example, me and Travis does the Hibiki Pro. It's kind of sort of like that. I actually watched the video he sent me the other day, and it was actually really good. So you never know. You might see Wild Wayne Bates on one of his channels. You never know.
You never know. You never know. Well, we'll get the contract set up soon. Now, I mean, you never know. You never know.
Wild Wayne Bates right here on Future Wrestling Podcast. You know. But
yes,
you guys can check me right there on Twitter at Logan Myers 144. But I guess it's time. Let's get started. Today we're debating on certain subjects, and the following are. Well, first, let me say what the chat says. Tater says, I actually watched the video you sent me the other day. Logan, untrustworthy. Tater Snake, with his quote. Tater,
I have no idea what does that mean, untrustworthy. Who is he talking about? Me or who?
He said Logan, untrustworthy, so it must be me.
Oh.
I did watch the video. I saw people hitting ladders and hitting tables, and James is sounding like Jim Ross. Oh my God, he broke his neck.
Dude, I'll tell you right now. If you don't want to trust him, you can trust my word for it. Like, we bust our ass. Like, we bust our ass to produce some of the best wrestling show that we possibly can. I'm not even joking. Like, if you actually want to see something, and get enjoyment out of it, watch our show, because like I enjoy doing it, so I'd hope that people would enjoy watching it.
And I'll give you guys props all day long. The editing on those videos in the beginning, like to basically work off of what happened the week prior.
Yeah,
that was really badass, I thought.
Yeah, it was. The weeks prior, by the way. There's like a total of 4 weeks embedded in that package that you're talking about.
Yeah, they had I saw a tournament going on, and that actually got me very interested in doing a tournament. So on Hibiki Pro, in the future, there will be a new tournament coming up, and you'll be crazy the names I've actually brought in for the tournament, and I'll even give you 2 of the names. Sexual Chocolate Mark Henry will be returning.
Oh, great.
And I'm actually going to have Kevin Steen made and El Generico made. And Randy Orton will be bringing back the Legend Killer gimmick for that show as well. So, hey, you never know.
The men and the gimmicks who have disappeared.
Yeah, especially Randy Orton. And actually, that's great that I mentioned Randy Orton, because that's the very first debate on the Great Debate tonight, is Randy Orton's position within the company. Is he in the perfect position, and what would you change to make him better?
So, I mean, as far as positioning goes, he's where he should be. That's not debating it. If I said his position is good, I think the positioning is good, but I think the writing for him could drastically use some work. Because if he's, not necessarily in the main event, but he's, the U.S. champion right now, right? This is in my opinion where they should try to start going balls to the wall with a guy like Randy, because this should be some of the funniest and or most entertaining Orton has been as a babyface in forever. Because it's not like he hasn't been able to do that as a babyface before. I mean, we got to remember that not even 3 years ago, his promo against the entire Authority, where he was a fucking riot. But it's shit like that is what I would like to see out of Randy Orton. Especially considering the fact that Rude could be turning heel, and they could be swapping the two. Not really swapping the two's roles, but giving Bobby Roode a different role to kind of feud with Randy Orton more legitimately. I mean, if it were up to me, I would have just teamed the two up, because I think it makes sense that you have a heel tag team like Bobby Roode and Randy Orton. 2 cocky prick heels makes sense, but positioning is good. Writing could definitely be better, in my opinion.
There's things I disagree. And things I agree. I think Randy Orton's in the perfect position he has been in years due to the fact that he's putting guys over nowadays, and that's
That I agree with, yeah.
very healthy for the guys coming up, and it's very healthy for finally Randy Orton that never really wants to put anybody over, it seems. The only person he'll put over is the Singh brothers over announce table.
Yeah, that kind of confuses the hell out of me, is that he'll put over both Mahal and the Singh brothers. Like Randy Orton has never been able to beat Jinder. It's like, what?
Marking out in the chat says heel Orton plus heel Rude would be a very cheap knockoff of Evolution.
I mean, I could see that, but we're not necessarily going with a faction. We're going with a tag team.
And
I think he's just saying that because he's like, oh, Bobby Roode looks like Triple H.
Probably. Broski says Logan stream till 3 a.m. I am not doing that, sir. But what I want to say is, though, yeah, Randy Orton has beaten Bobby Roode to win the United States Champion, and it is the only title that he has not won in his career. So, but I think it was too soon for Bobby Roode to lose that title. If you were going to do it, it should have been not on a pay-per-view or something like that. Bobby Roode should have kept that title, but I can see now the frustration will kick in, and I think he'll turn heel.
Yeah, I mean, if all's well but ends well, and he actually, gets his win back by being a heel in this case for the next matchup, then I'm fine with that. I don't know if it will actually happen, because who knows what they're trying to do, especially with Road Dogg. But I'd have to say that if you're gonna have Roode get his win back ultimately, if you wanted to give Randy Orton this title because he hasn't won it yet, it's fine with me.
Marking out also says Randy Orton has never won the NXT Championship. Go to NXT, Randy. Go to NXT.
There goes Aleister Black's career. But he wins a bit.
The final thing I will have to say is, in the long run, Randy Orton will help Bobby transition from face to heel again, which is where Bobby Roode should be at this point. And he's not terrible at as a face. Don't get me wrong.
He's so much better as a heel, though. I mean,
but he will thrive as the heel, like in NXT.
This is what kind of aggravated me about the booking of him too. Is like the minute they brought him up, they turned him babyface, even though he was a heel in NXT, simply because people sang along to his theme song,
which is like stupid.
That is the most, like, you have to be daft to like not realize what has been going down in your developmental territory. You can't just go and completely turn in the 180. Not to mention the fact that Roode was kind of in a program with Strawn that they had to end prematurely because they brought him up to the main roster and tried to turn him babyface. So it's like, that kind of hindered his babyface push too. You know what I mean? Because it didn't really do him any favors. So that's why it's like frustrating, the booking of Bobby Roode. I hope he turns heel, because if he turns heel, he'll be fine, but I honestly have no clue what to think with the Bobby Roode character. I'm hoping for the best, but
yeah, definitely hoping for the best for Bobby Roode. Let's see what they say in the chat real quick, because I know says, let me see. Tater says, keep doing what you're doing, brotherski. You're getting yourself over Dusty Rhodes Ghost 2018. I couldn't say it like Dusty Rhodes, but Marking Out says they should bring CM Punk back and make him NXT North American Champion.
I don't think he's ever going to come back, 1, and 2. I don't think he would go to NXT.
But I do like Marking Out for also transitioning. The next debate is CM Punk. CM Punk leaving, I wanted to know why it hurt you so bad when you did that video personally.
Oh yeah, okay. So here's my reasoning for this. So I understand Broski's point, because Broski did bring this up on the stream at one point where it was you know, the guy, he shouldn't care. He doesn't care. So why should you? Here's my thing. It's not that I care solely about him. I know he's happy and good for him. You know what I mean? He wants to do what he wants to do. He can do what he wants to do. I'm totally happy for him on that front. I'm more sad for the fans that actually, loved him in the WWE, specifically cheered for him in the WWE, that kind of came back to wrestling because of him in the WWE. I mean, the whole reason he cut the pipe bomb was because he was frustrated with creative. He was frustrated with the decisions that were made. He was frustrated with how people were just kind of held back purposely because, it wasn't in their plans. So Punk decided to even though it was kind of in their plans, they were like, here, take a free mic. He made the most of that opportunity to try to be the voice of the voiceless, even though, people are like, oh, well, that's just a gimmick. Yeah, but that was also his real-life frustrations with the company. And you could clearly see that it showed as time went on. He just stopped giving a shit. He stopped, catering to a script, and he actually said his own shit. And so when a guy like that leaves because of, I don't know about so much the neglect thing, but the fact that they creatively stifled him, the fact that they did pretty much did anything they could to say, oh, except say you're not worthy of the main event of WrestleMania, it just pisses me off. Because it was like they were trying to hold him back, and there was no way they could contain it because people liked him so much at that point. And it was just frustrating to me. You know what I mean? The guy brought a lot of people back, and when you let a guy like that go and let him go off disgruntled, no less, just kind of infuriates the fuck out of me. So there's kind of the reason why. I'm just annoyed with it, personally.
Well, you know what? CM Punk leaving, it may hurt you, but I don't understand why. I do get what you're saying.
I'm hurt because I'm putting myself, right, if I was running a company, because I wouldn't want to disappoint my consumer. You know what I mean? And trust me, I know you can't please everybody, but I don't want to hold anybody back. If somebody likes a guy, if I'm running a wrestling company and this guy happens to be the most popular guy, and that's a majority vote by pretty much everybody that watches my product, I don't want to disappoint my fans by not giving him every opportunity to succeed and thrive at that current time, because this guy's organic. This guy's organically getting over. I want him to have every opportunity to succeed as possible. Whereas to me, it was completely ass backwards with Punk, where as soon as he started getting white hot, they immediately shut it down by having him lose to Triple H, having him lose the WWE Championship, and feuding with Kevin Nash, which turned into Kevin Nash versus Triple H somehow. Fucking explain that one to me. And they were trying to do all this shit to try to hinder his success, and they kept doing it right up until the day he left. That doesn't mean he didn't have shining moments. Of course he has shining moments. He's fucking CM Punk, but they were trying to hinder him, and that's what frustrated the fuck out of me. That's why. It's not the fact that I don't, I want Punk to just automatically come back. It was like, oh, Punk, please come back. That's not what I'm saying. He's happy with doing whatever he wants to do. He can do whatever he wants to do. I'm just looking at it as if I was running a company and say my competition was doing this would fucking infuriate the hell out of me. So, put it that way.
But my opinion is CM Punk is perfectly fine where he's at right now, and I think CM
money-wise, yeah,
money-wise, yes, happiness, yes, too, as well. Marking Out actually wanted to know if you watch UFC because of CM Punk.
Yes. Well, I mean, obviously. I mean, I watched UFC because like Brock Lesnar got me into it. So, I mean, you know.
Just to me, CM Punk is fine. So you getting upset when you did that video, I understand, but at the same time, it's like.
Well, I mean, I didn't really explain it well at all, in fairness. So, I mean, it wasn't until now that I finally explained.
You were an emotional wreck that night.
Yeah, no, I fucking was. So, don't. You want to know why? Here's why. Like now that I actually have my mind cleared, I can actually explain this shit instead of being a blubbering fool.
Did you want to say anything else about it?
No, that's it. That's literally it. That's the reason.
Okay. The next thing is we're going to see, did they finally fix 205 Live? We really need to debate on something. We really need to disagree on something. So let's go.
I think that here's the thing about this. Actually, I think you and I might actually agree with this. I don't know though, because I actually think they have fixed 205 Live. Part of that is because it's Triple H's child now, and I'm not saying he's solely responsible for what's going on in 205 Live now, but I think the Enzo Amore issue may have been as horrible as it was and whatnot. This may have been a blessing in disguise for this show because it's now actually entertaining. I just watched an episode I think it was this week, and it was for the tournament. It was already at the semifinals, and a fucking banging match with Roderick Strong and Cedric Alexander. That was fucking incredible. So they're actually wrestling like cruiserweights, every single one of them, and they're actually making Jack Gallagher look strong. I really liked how Jack Gallagher looked, and I really liked how they're doing. They're already hyping up a little bit the new cruiserweight tag team division they're trying to build up with Kalisto's team and Akira Tozawa and Hideo Itami could possibly team up. I really like where this is going now. So
does this mean if Eric was in the cruiserweight tag team, his tag team partner would be RVD because they both smoke weed?
420 blaze it. Do it. I don't. Yeah. I mean, he could at least use RVD's catchphrase too. We just smoked your ass.
Jim hit it right on the nail, and this is why this is the great debate, and this is why I disagree. You can't say 205 Live is fixed until we see what happens after the tournament. That being said, yes, there were really good matches, and you can definitely tell it's changed and went to a better 205 Live within just a couple weeks during this tournament. But it's like everyone says, it's after the tournament is what.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. I mean, this is what first off, there is one thing that I think is still going to kind of make it not totally fixed regardless, and it's the fact that they have this thing right after SmackDown Live, and right now after Mixed Match Challenge too. Like, you're exhausting your fans in the audience, which is exhausting the fans that are watching on the network. So it's like I would have this like right before SmackDown, because at least you get more people into the building. Because like I remember back, I went to SmackDown in like 2014, and they had Main Event live, and there was a lot of people in the building for Main Event. So I mean that's used to be how they do it. I don't know why they don't decide to do it now.
Oh man, this is funny. Yeah, I know it's the great debate, but gosh, marking out is just marking me out right now. He's just fucking making me laugh. He says, I think 205 Live needs people who are 305.
305 Live.
And then Jim says Brodus
Dude, just copy a bunch of Undertakers from like 2003 because they always said how he was 305 pounds. Just get Undertaker from 2003 in a cloning machine and just clone him 20 times. You have your 305 live roster.
True. Yep. And Jim says, no one cares about it being after SmackDown. I don't mind it being after SmackDown, but it just, after all that wrestling that we go through, especially if there's pay-per-views or takeovers, it's like, oh man, we're done, we're dead.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say it, like, if you want people to be intrigued with what you're producing on 205 Live, have it before SmackDown. That's just what I think.
Yep, I agree. I will say Uncle Paul has helped resurrect the 205 Live division, hopefully, and it's a tremendous thing that's happening. And it's also showcasing guys that we're not really familiar with, but then there's guys that we're really familiar with. Roderick Strong, really familiar. Buddy Murphy, not a lot of people might not know him.
Yeah, I like that Buddy Murphy was actually brought him in, how they brought him in. I like that, actually. They gave him a chance, and he's actually been doing pretty good with it, so.
Yeah, and it really showcased more of an athletic ability for Buddy Murphy, so that's one thing that I enjoy. And again, Mark Andrews is another guy that some people may not, really know.
Very true. And, if they keep booking 205 like this after the tournament, I mean, the potential could be unbelievable. Like, you could get guys, like, they're already going to bring guys like Ricochet up there, and that's already been confirmed as far as I know. And then, like, just imagine you could get Will Ospreay, Kota Ibushi, Zack Sabre Jr. back. Like, that could be where they go. You know what I mean? So this is what I hope. This is where I hope it goes. Right now, I'm enjoying 205 Live. So that's the positive.
Okay, let's debate on this. Give me one name that has really stood out in the whole tournament so far with the new 205.
The new 205. I think it's Gulak, hands down.
Gulak.
Yeah, Gulak. Because I said this about a million times over. As funny as the gimmick may have been, the guy was meant to be a wrestler. His gimmick was to be an ass-kicking machine. That's what his gimmick's always been. That's what he is good at. He's good at being, like, this is a guy who could be comical, but this is a guy who could also be really serious. Like, I see him as like a mini version of Kurt Angle. So this is where I think Drew Gulak has shined immensely. Really in all of 205 Live. I mean, you could talk about the Vince era and the H era. I mean, there's not one thing that this guy does that is not hit out of the ballpark every time.
Yeah. And I like the fact that he is lowering and slowing down on the PowerPoint presentations and being more of a physical threat to the Cruiserweight division and the championship. I have to disagree that, though. He is not the one that has stood out. Mustafa Ali is my pick.
He stood out because his promos are a bit strange. I don't know whether I like them or if I'm confused by them yet. I'm like on the ladder. It's like his recent promo with what was it? Like some random guy coming in, and they did this whole like. I don't even know. He was in a dark alley, and this guy kept coming back. Yeah, and it was like, and he was like talking about like I understood what he was saying, but the visuals were like, what is going on? That I don't remember all of what he was saying. So I was like, I was really confused. You know what I mean?
But for me, the reason why I picked Mustafa Ali right now is because he had 2 comeback wins. Like, we thought he was done against Jack Gallagher. Didn't happen. We thought he could have been beaten by, I think it wasn't it, Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Mark Andrews. Yeah. No, it wasn't Mark. Mark Andrews lost to what was his face?
It was
It was
Buddy
Gulak.
Murphy,
He.
wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was Buddy Murphy. I think. Yeah, it was. It was Buddy. Yeah, because Buddy Murphy's like this. He's kind of like this like bully. They're trying to make him, I think, or something.
Yeah, but for me, Mustafa Ali stood out to me because of the fact that he had that comeback win against Jack Gallagher when Gallagher really destroyed him most of the match, and really it's showcasing that Mustafa Ali's like that underdog character in 205, which is great. Pick one person that the new 205 Live actually is hurting right now.
If I had to pick one, probably Hideo.
Hideo Itami?
Yeah.
He lost the very first
yeah,
match.
that because like I didn't expect, like, it was shocking, but I just, they just brought him up and then they bring in Roderick Strong like right after him and then just have him beat Hideo. So it was just kind of out of the blue. So I understood why they did it, but if we're gonna be honest, it's definitely hurt Hideo for now, at least, unless they're going something with the rumored cruiserweight tag titles with him and Akira turning heel, maybe. Like, I could see that happening, but like right now, it's definitely hurt him, if anything.
First off, marking out, WWE and their announcers have, and even commentary, has disrespected Jack Gallagher, whatever you want to call him now, because they always pronounce his name wrong. So I really don't know what his name is. And Tater Snake wants to know, what's your thoughts on Chad Gable?
My thoughts on Chad Gable are yours.
Yours.
My thoughts on Chad Gable, fucking awesome. It's Chad Gable. It's just upsetting that he got jobbed by the Usos out of nowhere. I didn't like the finish at the Royal Rumble at all with those two teams at all. I understood they had to rush some of the matches, but it's like you could have probably rushed a Raw Tag Team title match and given that match a lot more time. So I don't know. I feel bad for Chad right now, but I do, as a guy, I like him because I know he has a lot of potential to be great in the WWE, but he's just kind of lost in the shuffle as per usual.
James, this is funny. Jim says Hebert got lucky because Tater Snake was secretly testing you with the Chad Gable question because he's a Chad Gable mark. So.
No, I see.
For me though, the finish up for the 205 Live. My guy that I picked that was really hurt by this was Mr. Abs, Tony Nese.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
because if you look at it, Roderick Strong is the one that defeated Hideo Itami. That is not really hurting Hideo Itami as much as Drew Gulak beating Tony Nese. Tony Nese is, I think, one of the most underrated guys in there and shouldn't be in that division anyways. I think he should be on SmackDown and feuding for the U.S. title or on Raw.
Yeah, I mean, I'm iffy with Tony. Because I do like his abs gimmick, but like that's really all he's really shown. It feels like he definitely shouldn't be in the cruiserweight. If anything, if he's going to have the abs gimmick, he should probably be like a mat wrestler on SmackDown or something. Because it just doesn't make sense. Like he's incredible in the ring, but then like he doesn't need to have all the flippy dippy shit.
Yeah.
So.
Don't say anything in the chat. I'm actually going to ask that question. Okay.
I don't even have the chat up, so it's fine.
It's fine. Marking out wants us to add one topic. I hope you don't mind.
Yeah.
He says, I hope the next topic is WWF New York / WWE The World and whether or not it would survive in 2018.
If it didn't survive back then, it probably wouldn't survive now. I really don't think it would survive. That's a simple answer to that question for me. I don't know. It was a bad investment all around. I mean, maybe it could have survived, maybe like longer, but it wouldn't have ultimately survived.
You guys in the chat, I want to know, do you guys think it would survive in 2018? Marking Out also said something about what you said about Tony Nese. He said, how can this dude be iffy with Tony Nese? Nese is one of the best wrestlers in WWE, like the best, in all caps.
I wouldn't. Well, first off, that you got a whole plethora of people that are I personally think are better than Tony Nese. I mean, I think that's stretching it just a little bit. He's great. I wouldn't say he's one of the best. That's just my thing on that. Like, to be the best, you would have to be like a guy like AJ, or a guy like Eddie Guerrero, or a guy like what's another guy? So as far as great, maybe a guy like Chris Jericho, but best.
Yeah.
It doesn't for me. It doesn't sound like Tony Nese. You know what I mean? I think he's great in the ring, but I think to be the best, he's got to develop some different stuff for his character, which I know we're going to get to that at some point as character development. But
yeah, Marking Out also just said Tony Nese, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, Kalisto, Cesaro. He can keep naming people who are literally the best wrestlers in WWE right now.
Kalisto? What?
Tony Nese.
Yeah, but he also said Kalisto?
Yes.
What? I mean, it's your opinion, man. I just... He botches a lot. Like, he maybe he's getting better. He definitely isn't botched recently, but, I mean,
well,
the best...
He didn't botch that freaking water bottle that was thrown at his face a couple months back.
Yeah, well, I actually feel bad for him there, though, that no one should fucking be throwing water bottles at wrestlers. That's just kind of shitty. The fuck did Kalisto ever do to you? Like, I don't like the guy too much either, but I'm not gonna throw a water bottle at him. Or Kalisto.
Exactly. Marking Out says James Hebert's opinion is wrong. Let's get a how about it in the chat for that, and everybody's not saying it.
Okay.
They're giving their opinions, but that's fine. Next topic, so we can get this rolling, because I know you got to get to bed here soon. Dolph Ziggler, new contract. Was it best for business or a complete joke? Let's see if we can debate.
This is a complete joke. On both sides. First off, let the guy do whatever he wants to do. Second off, stop trying to, keep a guy that you're not going to push anytime soon. Like, how much money did they give him?
He's got the same contract, just about as John Cena and Brock.
Yeah, no. That should not be in the same sentence with the way they build him up.
He's making $3 million for 2 years.
Why?
Or each year, whatever.
Why? As if first off, we cut a bunch of wrestlers. We have cut pyro. We have cut staging over the years, just so ultimately in the end we could still waste the money that we have saved on a guy that we have never had any faith in, that we will never push because we don't have any faith in him, and we're going to waste $3 million on the guy. When in reality, he could probably make more on the indies or in doing comedy shows.
I don't know if he would make $3 million on the.
He wouldn't make $3 million. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean,
Do you
it
think
probably
he would?
wasn't.
Do you think he would make $3 million in the whole year?
No, not in the whole year. I mean, if I was Dolph Ziggler, I'm not blaming him. I would take it too as far as money goes, but I'm thinking like, why are you wasting money on the guy? And I've been a supporter of Ziggler, but I think it was dumb to keep him. Seriously, they have not done anything with this guy in years, and they're gonna spend $3 million.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's what they're doing.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Let me say this. I'll say this. No, it wasn't best for business to re-sign Dolph Ziggler to that type of a contract. Maybe lower. But that's
Definitely lower, but not $3 million.
I wouldn't say he doesn't deserve the money. I would say it's more of if you push him the right way, he deserves the money big time. But no matter what, I think over the years he's put over tons and tons and tons of guys, kind of like what Tyler Breeze did in NXT years ago. And I think he kind of deserves. Marking Out says Dolph Ziggler deserves $9 million or $6 million or something like that.
If they even have that much, I'd be shocked. That they can spend anyway.
Eric says $12 million. I think they're just pushing numbers now.
Dude, we need like one of those auctioneer guys to just come in here and be like, I'd never be able to like say words as fast as those guys, but you get the drift.
Yeah. I really don't understand why WWE thought he was worth $3 million. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but at the same time, I will say that Dolph Ziggler really has to. Here's the main thing. Obviously, WWE gave him $3 million, close to John Cena and Brock Lesnar money, because they see something we don't. And that's what we're going to find out in the near future. So that's why I'm debating against you on that, because I think Dolph Ziggler does deserve the money, and I would go on to say that he is getting pushed right now. He's in the, he was in the main event at Fastlane and did really, really well against all 5 of his opponents.
Well, all right. I think. Well, here's the reason why I think they did it. I don't think they. If they push him, that's fine. He's worth the $3 million. I just don't think he's gonna. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I think the reason they gave him the $3 million willy nilly, even though I think it's dumb, looking at it objectively, is they're probably trying to avoid as many Cody Rhodes-like stories as possible, where a guy goes out away from WWE and has the potential to make more money elsewhere and ultimately succeeds in that opportunity. That's probably why they panicked and like, just give him $3 million and hopefully he'll stay, and he stayed.
Yeah, because who would deny that money if he didn't think he was going to make the same amount on the Indies, and he was given a really good contract offer?
Well, here's my thing. I mean, if he joined the Bullet Club, even though it's a cheap way out, I mean, he definitely would have made the money outside of WWE. That's not even a question. But
speaking of that, Marking Out says, does James watch indie wrestling? Does
of course I do.
Bucks?
Okay, so I always have a love-hate relationship with the Bucks. I think I think there are times where they're really good and even great. Sometimes even the best, but then there are other times where they could piss me off. and it's the same with Cody too recently, by the way. I just kind of want to point that out. That's usually how it goes with the Bullet Club.
Panda says, give all the money to Ellsworth. We got 9 people watching, and also Travis, welcome to the chat, sir. He says, give all the money to Velveteen Dream.
Yes, all the money to Velveteen Dream. He needs the money so he can, he can have the wardrobe that he can get. All the wardrobe for Velveteen Dream. Make sure donate all the money to Velveteen Dream, guys.
Yep, exactly. Take all the revenue generated and give it to CG. Tater Snake says, Chad Gable. The next topic, so we can get on. We're cutting it close here. Ronda Rousey, first impression since coming to WWE. Has it been good? Has it been bad? And what does the future hold for Ronda Rousey?
My first impression was, why is she just coming down to point at a sign? Just kind of came down, interrupted Asuka's celebration, and just stood in front of Asuka, Charlotte, and Bliss, and just pointed at the sign, walked off, shook after shaking Stephanie's hand, and then pointed at the WrestleMania sign again. It was confusing, and also like that was my first impression. Was I'm confused. What was the second part of that?
What does the future hold for Rowdy Ronda Rousey?
I think I'm hoping. I don't know if it'll actually happen, but I'm hoping this is like what she's actually like. She's actually serious about this, and it turns into like a Ken Shamrock kind of deal. Because if you remember, Ken Shamrock came over from the UFC, and you know he became a mainstay, or like one of the more underrated names in the Attitude Era. He was like actually really good doing what he was doing. So that's what I hope. That's where I hope it goes, but I don't know. That's what I think will happen if she's serious as she says she'll be.
Okay, so first off, I'm going to debate with you on this one. Her pointing to the sign, and I know a lot of people in the chat say fire the WrestleMania sign and all the marks who point at it. Tater Snake says that. Travis says Ronda's worth about 100 million times more than Shamrock even in his prime.
I agree with that. I'm not saying I'm just comparing as far as career paths, like how she would get in the first place.
Possibly the biggest name they have ever brought in besides Tyson Hibiki, TMD, Travis says. Yes. What I want to say is, her pointing to the sign, I know a lot of people hate it, but she stole the spotlight from every single woman in that ring when she came down to the Royal Rumble, and it was to make a statement that she's here, and y'all better be ready. So it wasn't confusing to me. It was smart booking, in my opinion, because it made her let everyone know, I'm the bitch, and I'm here.
And that's fair enough. I can see where you're going with that.
So, just saying. And for me, she's growing on me as a fan really quickly, and she's a badass. She's just a badass, and I actually want to see more of her in the future. Even on the mic, I think she's speaking really good promo. She's doing really good. I don't think she's done a bad promo yet, and Roman Reigns has been there for has only done 3 good promos his whole career in WWE. So
fucking true.
So I will say, Ronda Rousey's doing good. My first impressions since coming to WWE, great. I'm glad. For the future, Ronda Rousey, there's definitely a future, and it's like I said, it's gonna be even more badass, and I cannot wait to see what she has to do.
Yeah, I agree that she's definitely going to have a future with them. I just don't know if it's going to be like in, kind of like Mike Tyson role, or if it's going to be in the Ken Shamrock role, where she's actually, competing and, like, training and shit.
Yep.
But we'll wait and see. I think she'll do the Shamrock deal.
Yeah.
Speaking
of Roman Reigns. Is it time? Is this his final opportunity to get over, or will he fail at it? Can he, or will he fail?
He's it's not his fault. I don't even hate the guy, honestly. I know people are probably gonna have that misconception. I don't. I hate the character direction, and it's dead in the water. even if they do this whole thing where they double turn him, and I feel like they're still gonna shit on him. Like, there's no real way to go about this now, because the universally liked guy the obvious pick should have been Braun Strowman. It should have been Braun Strowman versus Brock Lesnar at Mania. Any wrestling booker, even Vince fucking Russo could tell you that it should have been Braun Strowman. If Jim Cornette and Vince Russo can fucking agree on something, there's a problem. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that they just decided to go with Roman Reigns just baffles me. But they went with him, and I don't see the point of holding. First off, the fact that they're holding Brock Lesnar away from advertised shows where he was advertised to be there, and only to take him off and then have Reigns cut these work shoot promos, does any good for him whatsoever, or any good for the company in general. Because it's not like people don't know this fact. I mean, yeah, you'd be able to fool some of the casuals that don't go on the dirt sheets, but most casuals now go on dirt sheets. They know the worst. They know what's going on. There's not really a casual viewer anymore. The most you'll be able to fool is the kids. You know what I mean? What are you doing there? It makes no sense to me that you're going to have him come in. As far as his promo, it was definitely the best promo he's cut in his entire career, because they finally said, let's not give him a script. Let's actually let him say whatever he wants to say. Let's have him wing it. Finally. Because I was actually saying for the longest time, if you give Roman Reigns just bullet points, I guarantee you he could probably knock something out of the park. No problem. And to his credit, he's done that. But it's too late. It's too late for me. And it's too late for a lot of people.
I'll get to that question marking out in just a second. Let me finish up on the Roman Reigns. For me, Roman Reigns, yes, the promos he's done lately on Brock has been really good. I'm very, very excited for this match now, because Roman Reigns is not just getting himself over lately, but he's speaking the truth about Brock Lesnar. This will end in two different ways, though. He's going to finally get over, my opinion, and then WWE will mess it up again. I guarantee this is the possibility, but my final opinion is Braun Strowman will be added to the match, and like I said, he'll finally get over, plain and simple.
1 second. Yeah, he is.
While he's going, I'm going to read the chat, and you guys can answer some of the questions.
Sorry, I had to. This is the irony of living at home. You gotta answer the call of duty when it comes. But sorry, what were you saying before I had to kind of out of nowhere leave?
I said I guarantee the possibility, but I'm gonna say he finally gets over in the majority of the crowd, because speaking the truth about Brock Lesnar and plain and simple. I just...
Or it could have a really negative effect for both of them. Like, that's probably what's going to happen. That's what I think will actually happen, is that both of them are going to get booed completely out of the building, and it's going to just piss everybody else off that's watching the network and watching Mania. That's what I think will actually happen.
Marking Out said earlier he wanted a question. He said, let me go down here, if it lets me stop. Ask James if he knows if Ken Shamrock started out as a pro wrestler and then moved to MMA.
I did not know that. You learn something new every day. Did not know that. It makes sense, though, now that I think about it. But I don't know, because it's for him. It was like he was definitely more well known before he went to WWF or MMA. So that's probably why. But I didn't know. Now I know. If that's true, that's true. But I don't actually have fact checking, so I'll take your word for it.
Travis says he's getting on. What does that mean? I didn't know
he wants to come on here apparently.
Do you want to come on here, Travis? Is that what you're talking about, or somewhere else? I don't know. But
He wants to get on the stream, I think is what he means.
I want to know the negatives about the main roster compared to other companies and why you
my theories on it. Okay, so excluding NXT and recently the recent additions to 205, I think that there's a lot of mishandled character development and or just no character development at all. And it shows when you look at guys and how their character is actually developed in NXT. Hello?
Sorry about that.
Holy crap.
Sorry
Everyone
about that.
just joined in.
I was adding Eric and Travis.
And the lights, baby.
Travis did not answer. Apparently. But, yeah, I think that just, like, when you look at guys and how their characters is developed in NXT and or in the indies, you could definitely see that they're actually, like, have a character and that they're different and unique from everyone else. You don't get that as soon as you go to the main roster. You're like either like everybody else. You're either typical babyface, typical heel, or with a hints of slight development but none of it actually getting anywhere. And that's why I don't like the main roster booking. I can't stand how they just make everyone most people just feel like boring as bricks with a few exceptions. Like you got a guy like Braun Strowman who was able to make it through, and a few others. But then most about 95% of the roster feels boring as bricks, and they don't get to develop their character when they're in the main roster. It's like, this is what you got to do. Just do it like this. Don't try to make yourself more over than the brand. And that's what it feels like to me. Okay. It just feels like you can't be there to get yourself over. You have to get the company over. You can't get your character over.
Okay, but
where the fuck did Travis go?
I understand. But Eric is Eric from the Kayfabe Today podcast and my co-host for Future Wrestling Podcast. Thank you, sir, for popping up on the call.
There's Travis. Just came online. I'll add him to the call.
Okay.
I already did.
Yeah, then why isn't he here?
I don't know, okay? I do not know.
Logan, why are you not listening to me in the chat? Why are you trying to censor my free speech?
Because you're an asshole.
Yo, you kept not reading my messages. You read Jim's.
I can't even add Travis to the call because he's...
Hey, Travis.
Why? Read Eric's messages. I want to hear what he has to say.
It was just me mostly.
I want to know the negatives and the positives, what you were saying on the video that you put out months ago. I want to know exactly what the negatives are, why you do not want to watch and do podcasts.
Right. So, I genuinely don't know if it'll actually get better, and I don't know, and you have no way of knowing. So that's the reason I stopped podcasting. Because I already explained why I don't like the character development in the main roster. I think the main roster, there is either really bad character development or no character development at all. The really bad character development, Exhibit A, Jinder Mahal.
What is character development? And hi, by the way.
Hello.
In your opinion, what is character development?
For me, character development is when you're playing a character and you're developing certain levels of your character, and you're trying to be different from everybody else. So you do stuff to stand out, much like what The Rock did, much like what Austin did, much like what Triple H back in the day did.
Wrestlers aren't allowed to do what Austin and Rock did anymore.
No, I'm not saying
I can
swear.
barely hear
Yeah,
you,
well,
though,
definitely.
Eric,
That's something Eric and I can agree on. That's why I hate it. Because it's like, what the fuck? Why can't they be themselves? It's not like you're gonna have like if you let them have some creative freedom to where they could actually not have a script in front of them. Why not just let them be themselves, for the most part? Not have them read scripted dialogue.
How about have them win a fucking match for starters consistently?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I agree with you. And I feel like if Steve Austin would have never won a King of the Ring '96, when would he have gotten a chance to say that promo on a Superstars where he was beating a jobber?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. True. Yeah, they should win matches. The problem is too, I think, you kind of hit the nail on the head, Trav. Is like wins and losses haven't meant anything in fucking years. It's just like it's all about the storytelling. It's all about you have to have the guy win. Like, if you're trying to build up a guy, you can't just do this 50-50 bullshit with him.
It depends. You can have a guy lose more than he wins, and he's still over like a motherfucker. It just depends how you do it. And I don't think the wins and losses, at the end of the day, they matter, but not as much maybe as people think. I think the even Steven booking, which we always talk about, is what it really is, honestly.
Very true. I agree with that. Because it's like, it definitely is the even Steven, but at the same time, it's like, they're doing it most of the time to hinder their push or not really push them because they're not in the plans. For instance, a guy like Rusev, who, like, just how are you, like, not pushing this guy when he's, like, outselling everybody, in merchandise, and, they're trying to immediately push him by losing. You know what I mean?
It's in the eye. I think it's in the eye of the beholder too, with a lot of the agents and the yes men to Vince backstage. Yeah. They're basing a lot of things on just their perception. Like, okay, say for example Tuesday, there was a SmackDown immediately followed by the Mixed Max Challenge. So then essentially, Rusev appeared twice in front of that crowd. So did Bobby Roode, wrestled twice that night. So maybe I'm pretty sure the agents were like, on the second time Rusev came out, and Bobby Roode didn't get a great reaction either, but Rusev got like nothing. And for Rusev right now, that's shocking. But it was a tired crowd. For one, they've already seen him. SmackDown was over. But I think the scary part is those guys backstage were like, look at that, he's got no reaction, not realizing that the fans already saw him. That's how closed-minded they are sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they'll do this whole thing where they'll blame they have the house show like right after 205 too, and mixed matched right now, which, if you're having them on the dark match and nobody makes a freaking sound, of course they're not going to. You just fucking tired them out with like 3.5 hours of wrestling. Of course they're not going to make a freaking sound if they have to watch another 20-minute match.
Yeah. Before we move on or say anything else, Eric, I can barely hear you when you talk.
Yeah.
Is he coming back? I thought he was just hanging up and calling right back. Had some issues or something. I couldn't hear him.
Yeah, I couldn't hear him either. That's why I was like confused.
Oh,
I just thought he was like starting Skype or something.
Oh, did not know.
Mm.
Oh, well, welcome, Travis. I didn't know you wanted to come on, sir.
Well, I didn't know I was, and then Eric in the chat was like, hey, let's do it. And I was like, okay, here I am.
All right. I'm actually shocked. I haven't actually checked the chat myself. I feel like I probably should have, because you guys probably said some shit, and I had.
See, every time you have one of these debates, you don't really end up debating a lot with someone, Logan. What's the debate, though, tonight? Because I'm just jumping in, like, mid-episode.
Well, the debate was, like, Ronda Rousey, if it was so far good or bad. We did Dolph Ziggler's new contract, if that was smart or not.
I came in at Dolph, is what it was.
We talked about CM Punk leaving, because, remember, he cried about it on the video.
Yeah.
Not trying to say that in a mean way, but...
Dude, it's a meme now. I don't give a shit.
We talked about Randy Orton's position.
Yeah.
Randy Orton's position, okay. Gotcha.
And we also talked about is 205 Live finally fixed?
Yeah, we're debating like a who's who of topics, basically.
But I want to debate on what positives there is in the WWE main rosters compared to other companies like New Japan.
The obvious is opportunities for guys that 10, 15 years ago would have never been there for a guy like Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, James Ellsworth, guys like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but at the same time, I feel like they had more character in the indies. You know what I mean? So,
Well, I mean, everybody does because you're booking yourself in the end. I mean, you're booking your character progression, quote unquote. You're not booking your wins and losses because the promoters are, but you're controlling pretty much what you want to do with your promos for the most.
yeah.
9 times out of 10 on that kind of independent scene, I would guess. But yeah, I mean there's that. Some other positives. I mean, obviously, say what you want. That intangible that's missing from modern wrestling, especially on the main roster today, that X factor of guys jumping off the screen, that's lacking. But I feel like the in-ring now is obviously better than it's ever been. But that's also a very dangerous thing because and trust me, I loved Almas and Gargano too. But how many times are we going to see this? It's kind of like I look at this indie darling Ring of Honor ring style making its way to main roster like all the time now. I look at that progression. It reminds me of what happened with hardcore wrestling in the 90s. When ECW was on fire and WWF changed to the Attitude Era, everybody lost their minds. But in a couple years, everybody was numbed and it negated the audience, and wrestling kind of fizzled out a little bit before it came back. So I hope that a less is more, because a lot of people shit on Rude and Orton last week at Fastlane. I actually really enjoyed that.
I really liked that match.
It was a good match.
I liked that match.
Yeah, and it wasn't that high spot. It was a nice pace. Told an okay little story. It wasn't the best psychology, but it was fine, and it didn't have to be dives and bullshit. You know.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, what do you expect with guys like Bobby Roode and Randy Orton, though? You know what I mean? Like, of course you were going to get a great, or a very good wrestling, just basic wrestling match.
Well, tell social media that because they disagree.
No, well,
they would have you think that was like watching fucking Dory Funk Jr.
I think
on you in a 2-hour.
I think some crap on it, and I can understand where they're coming from. I think some do crap on it just because of how the feud's just been built up. Because I haven't watched much of SmackDown, but from what people have told me and from what I've seen, like clips on SmackDown and whatever, it's over a top 10 list, and then they want to pretend like, oh, now it's about the U.S. title, but you originally talked about this top 10 list like it offended Orton. Like,
I think it offended not Orton or Bobby. It offended Jinder Mahal more.
Yeah, apparently. It's like this top 10 list is the end-all, be-all for some reason. I think that's why some fans, not all fans, but some fans may have not liked the match, probably just for the simple fact they weren't invested in it. Which I definitely attribute that to fucking creative. Like, there's no way you can book something that piss poor and not blame that on creative. Like, that, Orton and Rude did the best with what they could. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and I like the match, but I can understand where people are coming from on that end. But I think most people, probably just don't like Orton and his fucking style of wrestling. Never really have.
It's a slow pace. And back to what me and Travis talked about the other day is everybody was bitching and moaning and complaining about the Orton-Rude match from Fastlane, and we both thought it was really good, because what do you expect from Orton when he is that slow-paced wrestler? He's going to work on the body parts and stuff like that. He's not going to jump off the top rope and do a moonsault.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem is, I don't think it was really the match the people that complain about a lot as much as it's just Orton. So they use the pacing of the match as an excuse. They don't want to admit that they just don't want to give it a chance because it's Orton. And quite frankly, it's hard to blame them sometimes, but I guess I'm a little more open-minded than them. But still, Orton is kind of like kryptonite sometimes. It's his storylines, matches. He's in that Bray Wyatt territory, at least for me, because they've just stagnated him to just, hey, he's an attraction. He won a world title before. And for so many years, like, why is it, even when he's in a main event feud, like last year, a world title, it just didn't,
It makes no sense to me, because I attributes back to what I said. I think Orton may be in the best position, but I think his character I think he needs to be doing more with his character, which he's not. And I don't know if that's creative or him.
Yeah, shocking to me at Fastlane, he actually got a good reaction from the crowd when he won the title. And usually pay-per-view crowds, they're the more, because they're more expensive for one, but they're more the smarter fans that attend this. But that shocked me. But I just feel like both of those guys are criminally miscast. Is the problem with Rude and Orton? They both need to be just shit heels, devious. You know, that's them. That's what they do best.
I even said they should have been a tag team.
I never really thought of that. You could do that.
I mean, you got two cocky shit prick heels. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like Rude fits in a stable better than Orton, even though he was in Legacy and Evolution. I just think that Orton does that piece of shit lone wolf better than a Rude would. I think Rude kind of needs to be surrounded. Maybe it's the size thing, too, is why Rude probably needs guys, for me, around him. You know what I mean? He's a little smaller.
For me, I think when you got a guy like Randy Orton, I think Randy Orton, honestly, should be the shit prick babyface. Because it's not like he can't do that. I mean, case in point, I brought it up earlier. His shit with the Authority was freaking hysterical, where he just like roasted the entire Authority and then just said, "Nah, I'm messing with you, come on," and then double crossed them in the end and make sure all of them were out of the building. Like that was fire. Like I like that Randy Orton when
Seth Rollins was the champ. Was it like 2015?
Yeah, that was 2015.
Yeah, I hated that. I hated that with Orton.
Really? I found that hysterical because it was actually, I thought it was the funniest Randy Orton's been in a while. You know?
I think Orton is funniest when he kind of breaks character a little bit in his matches. You know what I mean? Where he kind of does those little dick smirks at the audience, or like he like points out a mark or something and roasts them a little bit. Especially on house show footage of Orton, it's tremendous. Or when he's not bumming smokes from fans outside of the ring.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's better than what he was doing in the past.
Logan, what do you think's the biggest positive right now in modern wrestling?
What was the question, Travis?
I don't know. You asked your question. I just threw it back to you to be classy.
Sorry, I had to walk out to the living room for an emergency. My bad.
I see.
What did you say back to me, Travis? I'm sorry.
What do you think is a positive in modern day wrestling?
Right now, for WWE compared to any other company right now, is they sometimes listen to the fans more now than they have in a long time.
That's hilarious.
They
listen to Snickers, the sponsor, who made them change the name of the Battle Royal. They don't listen.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
They listen to the shareholders. Like, hey, that's not a good look. You need to change it. They don't care what we fucking want, really. Honest. I mean, in a way, they do. They don't, at the end of the day.
My example was AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. We've wanted it, and they're gonna pull they're pulling the trigger on it. So
they're pulling the trigger on it because, I mean, they're pulling the trigger on it. I agree with you. They gave it to us, and we did want it, but I don't think it's because we specifically wanted it. I think it was right place, right time for them to do it.
And I don't think it should be translated as them listening to us more than just throwing that niche mark audience a fucking bone at Mania so they shut up and stop complaining about everything. I think that's how they view it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Even though there would be no reason to complain if you just give the consumer what they want at least 90% of the time anyway.
And the saddest part is, and I say that from their point of view, I don't think it's a niche mark audience. Because AJ Styles, my kids love AJ Styles. My kids like Shinsuke, and they don't know shit about New Japan Pro Wrestling. They're interesting characters, and it doesn't help that they can have phenomenal matches. You know what I mean? I mean, it does help, I should say. Not that it doesn't help.
It does help, yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, because at the end of the day, it's like the WWE. This is why I stopped watching it for a while. I mean, I think I watched 205 and NXT. I don't watch main roster for that reason. It's because they don't listen, and I'm tired of talking about it because it's like,
yeah,
they don't listen.
Yeah, it's just like my Facebook the other day. Bottom line the conversation on it, because you're right. It is kind of a dead horse. It's an old meme now at this point, right? The video. Yeah. At this point in wrestling, there's been no other point besides maybe the territory area, and not even all those territories back in the day were televised. There's so many options now for whatever taste you like in wrestling. Your comedy, your hardcore, your in-ring, your hokey WWE. There's something for everybody. So I would definitely suggest don't fucking watch it. Exactly, man. There's no reason to let fucking wrestling of all things work anyone up like. And if you're not, Ring of Honor right now is on fire. I
love Ring of Honor, dude. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me twice about how good Ring of Honor is right now.
Well, no, I was just saying in general, but I'm just saying, like there's always other options now more than ever. And if you find yourself, anybody listening to this, watching the main product and you just can't hack it anymore, dude, it's not worth it. I mean, and if anything, look at all the back content on the network to satisfy your palate.
Exactly. True. I mean, I'll be the first to admit I do watch some of the back content from the network, but I just don't watch main roster anymore. You know, and I've never been happier since I made that decision. Now, that's another positive I didn't mention before, but I'll kind of emphasize that, because as well as how stupid it was for me to even make that video, which I've admitted I should have thought and like actually given myself a day before I made it, where I wasn't a blubbering fool. It was the best decision I made solely because of the fact that I'm watching other products that I enjoy. I like what 205 Live's doing right now. I like what NXT does. I like what Ring of Honor does. I like what New Japan does. I like what, you know, Rev Pro does. I like, I really like Lucha Underground, you know, and I love doing that. And I love running my own show.
Well, I was going to say, not for nothing. If anything, if you don't even watch anything now, you're enjoying doing your own wrestling series.
I love doing my own wrestling series. You have no idea. I have had such a blast working on that.
It's the most fun thing I've ever done. Yeah, I hear you.
I started a trend, yay! But yeah, because it was the funniest thing was like, because you didn't even know, like, you didn't even start that until you saw me do it, right? Or was it
I was like, fuck it, I'll try my hand at it, and it's fun.
It is fun.
I mean, because it's shit I would do back in the day anyway, like on old SmackDown vs. Raw, just like, you know, you're out with some friends and fuck around and do commentary while we're playing.
Exactly, yeah.
Same principle.
Yeah, me and Travis have the smarts to book the shows too, and we do a pretty damn good job, don't we, Travis?
Oh, yes.
Logan books this shit like Pat Patterson. He's already sent me sheets for like 6 months of booking.
Oh, like, no, I did not. No, I did not, sir.
And I didn't mean saying he's my Patterson as an insult in that way, by the way. I meant as a booker.
Oh.
I see. Logan's got his being the Pat Patterson. He knows how to do it.
I got my thinking hat on.
You always got your thinking hat on. That's good, man. Keep doing it. I love doing that kind of stuff, man. That's a thing I used to miss, because like they used to, CAW leagues used to be flooded on YouTube, and then it just kind of went away, and like people stopped doing it, and it was like, we should do our CAW league, see what people think of it, and now it's like kind of taking on a life of its own.
Yeah, and I literally only do it to get a laugh out of, like, you guys, like all my friends online and friends in real life, like inside jokes in it. So I don't even care if it catches on, but it's funny to make like my friends laugh with it, like Logan.
Dude, Eric, I don't know if Eric's on the chat, but Eric's fucking hysterical as a Russian dude. I know it's him too, because it's like you could tell it's definitely him, but it's like. I couldn't tell at first, and then it's like, oh wait, that sounds a lot like Eric playing a Russian accent, like halfway through. I'm like, oh, also, love the fact that you picked Emarosa for a theme.
It's French, by the way.
Was it?
It was French.
Oh, it's French?
Yeah, he's from Montreal.
Fuck. Sorry, Eric. I thought it was Russian.
Yeah.
My bad.
Who did you like? What lady did you say? Slits?
Slit. I do like I do like Slits. Just because she's freaking.
I knew it since day one. Oh.
Not like that.
Oh.
Why do I feel like that's an inside joke though?
That is.
It is, isn't it? It's who I think it's who I think it is, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Just gotta make it fatter.
Oh fuck. I can see the resemblance now. There's nothing.
Me and Travis knows how to book it, like I said.
I see.
Our little inside jokes. The funniest about doing it was Nia Jackson, Broski. Travis changed it up a bit. I really wanted them to kiss on the stage.
There's no way to. I can't find the Miz and Maurice fucking created like team entrance on there for some reason.
Dude, you should like book another show where they're in Paris and Broski finally has his moment with Nia.
Stay tuned, Vicky Pro guys.
Oh yeah. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. It's gonna be great.
You never know. We could even bring in we could have James Hebert on as a commentator for one show. You never know. You never know what we have planned.
Instant ring talent too. Fuck it.
Yeah, he could bring his own talent to the show. Cross promotion.
I'm fine with that. The funniest thing too is like on my CAW league, like I mean, what talent do you want to come over? Because like I have about 27 guys that would be willing to probably voice act for other things.
No, I was just talking about creating you in my league. Making you
you can create me in my league. The only thing is I have like 2 separate characters. So do you want Jonathan Caterer or do you want James Archangel?
I'll just make James Hebert on my own. I just wanted
Fair
permission
enough.
likeness. This is what I was doing there.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. I don't care. Dude, whatever you want to do is fine by me. I can do commentary too.
I feel like making Ahmed Johnson for some reason.
Make Ahmed Johnson. He's great. Make him, dude. You should make him like have cruiserweight moves like that he never could do just for shits and giggles.
WWE should find Tony Norris, the man, the legend known as Ahmed Johnson, bring him back, and book the storyline as Apollo's father, and just try it, play with it, see what happens. Somebody has got to get over in that. Bound to happen.
It'll definitely be Apollo if they let him do whatever. I mean, I feel like it would probably be like
him, have him put elbow pads on his thighs, the whole shebang. Give him a wedgie, all of it, just like Ahmed.
Wedgie. For Hibiki Pro, I will say we won't tell you one of the guys that's coming, but there is some highly big rumors, right, Travis? With some one guy with Carlito maybe on his way. You never know. He's contacted his agents to come on the Hibiki Pro if the price is right.
By price, he means drugs.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what RVD asked for.
With a Carlito joke, huh?
Yes.
Yes. Are we gonna have Broski eventually start wrestling so we can team up with Van Dam like Logan recommended?
I'll have to ask Travis that when he comes back. He said be right back.
Alright.
No, I actually we have to pay RVD weed money to come on the show now.
I see. So we're not talking. Oh, so we're talking about like. Are we talking about the cash, or are we talking about like pot that is made into cash?
Probably both. Knowing that.
Fair enough.
I know this was the great debate and all that, but hey, we can talk a little bit of just stuff that makes it fun about still being able to do podcasts. So
what? Just shooting the shit like this?
Yes.
I see. So you're saying I should come out of retirement and
find
just
something.
shoot the shit about other shit?
Yep.
Dude, I'd totally be in to do like a Ring of Honor show. I mean, if anybody's willing to do it.
Logan, what's your chat doing right now?
What is your chat doing? I feel like we're ignoring the chat too much.
Mark announced that there is no way Apollo's father would be that out of shape.
Who said that?
There's no way Apollo's father would be that out of shape, they said.
Drew said FGDSIOM, never mind, blah, 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 Ahmed Johnson.
I think Drew was trying to say how Ahmed talks like, it's something to the God, really something. It's like, Jesus. Did he have, like, 2 things of bubble gum, like Big League Chew in each cheek? So you can
yeah. And Late Night with Broski says blood. Just blood.
That's what wrestling, that's why. Right there. That's one word Broski. Sums up the entire show. That's what needs to come back is blood.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, blood in the proper place, I would say.
Blood on the dance floor.
I got it.
Travis, I mentioned something funny earlier and wish you
I
was
thought
in the
you,
chat.
I thought you went come.
No.
My bad.
Get your
Travis.
head out of the. Get your mind out of the gutter, sir.
Wrestling needs come.
Wrestling, dude. It already has it with Joey Ryan. Just sign him. Oh, please don't.
We're not doing that. No, that would be a disgrace to Hibiki Pro.
It would be. Don't sign him.
I mentioned to James that we should get. We should book RVD and Broski as a tag team because they both smoke weed.
Call them High Times.
Yep,
High times. Gotta get some high times, baby. High times. I fucked it up. High times, baby.
Eric's like, when is the
I
debate
just smoked
starting?
your ass. There is no debate. I think we debated
We've
everything.
done debated everything. Now we're just
shooting the shit because we're.
Or I got it. Call the team High Altitude. Boom! Because one's a high
Good.
flyer and they smoke pot. You see what I did?
Yay!
I love that.
There you go. High altitude.
Drew says bongs and dongs.
That's me and Drew's team.
Bongs and dongs. Oh, dongs. Oh, by the way, you were
masks though when we do that team, so I just exposed us. Damn it.
Travis. A little shameless plug for you, but I heard you're now doing Slam Pigs again with my old co-hosts with Kuzan and Colin.
The belated birthday boy himself. That's right. This Thursday, Slam Pigs is coming back. Brand new Slam Pigs, not your daddy's Slam Pigs. Got Kuzan and Colin. It's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Check it out this week.
Gonna be great. I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Oh, and don't forget, I will be back on Slam Pigs as well for the post shows of pay-per-views.
Post show man, doing the best he can. Logan's always been the post show man for like 2 years. He's happy to pick up his mantle again. He's missed his seat.
He has missed his seat.
This debate wasn't for blood or anything.
Yeah, obviously this debate was not for blood. This was just a debate. I feel like you were also trying to get me back into podcasting because for some reason you guys like missed me or something.
Fucking intervention, Logan.
This is it.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
Mhm.
Intervention. Damn it.
Logan totally clickbaiting his audience, thinking it's gonna be blood sports, putting debate on there, and he's just like, yeah.
I saw that. I'm like,
I
it's gonna be
won.
blood sports. What am I walking into here?
fucking Myers.
Told you, I win all the time.
Were we gonna do our best impersonation of Morning Kumite over at Taka's channel? Fuck you, Logan. No, fuck you, James. You cried. Yeah, well, you podcast. That's about. I think that's as much as we'd probably do. So, like, I don't know. Maybe we would have been able to roast better than that, but you know.
Probably.
You see what you did was false advertising. Now people are gonna not like you because they expected blood sports, man. Expected you and I to go fisticuffs.
I got a great one you guys can argue on because I feel like it started on Facebook. It was about Roman, but I don't want to talk about Roman.
Okay. No one does. I don't blame you.
This Brock Lesnar thing, how they're putting in promos, okay, about him being part-time. It's too little too late, my fucking opinion. They should have been having a guy cut promos like this a couple years ago when he started doing the part-time shit. Now people are so used to it and fucking, it's not a big deal and it's so see-through what they're doing. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm not saying I've enjoyed them. That's the thing. I've enjoyed the promos, but I see what they're doing, and it kind of sucks that I know it's not going to work because people are too close-minded. Because people already have in their minds they're not going to like Roman. It's not going to happen. The same people that still boo Cena 10 years later are those people. Because I've come around on Cena. Like, I'm not like a huge fan, but I don't dread him anymore. You know?
I mean, I think it's just the fact that right now he's been shoved down the throats for so long that it's like, that's probably why. But otherwise, I think they might be more receiving to it.
Yeah.
I
I don't really think there's anything to debate. That's the thing about modern wrestling. Everyone's pretty much in agreement. Yeah, obviously it's not as good as it used to be. Blah blah blah. That's the given. But I think all the things that need to change, everyone is in agreement on what it needs to be. Now there's those fans that go next round. Well, it needs the Bullet Club. It needs the Young Bucks. There's those guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the base of everyone's argument is pretty much the same. So it's hard to debate anything when complaining.
Yeah.
Bad things are anymore. The debate really is, why do we keep being masochists to ourselves and watching it? Jump off the ship.
That's exactly, you hit the nail on the head for me, Trav. That's exactly how I feel of it.
The great debate.
That's exactly. Hence why I stopped masochisting myself. I don't even think that was a fucking word, but that's why I stopped. It's like, because I don't want to freaking torture myself. If I really don't like it, I shouldn't have to watch this shit.
I mean, every form of entertainment has those fans too. I'm not saying you're under that label, because, like you said, you are smart enough. You have stopped watching. But the ones that just hang on and keep bitching and ruin it for everybody else, the one in comics, video games, television series, movies.
Yeah.
Even certain sports teams can be like, if you've been a lifelong fan of a franchise and you have those fans of that franchise that every year at the beginning, well, they're going to suck dick this year just like last year, but they're wearing the team shirt, but they're never positive about the team. You know what I mean? And then just break down the morale, and you don't want to be around them.
Exactly. That's why I stopped podcasting for a while, is because I don't want to bring the morale down about WWE, because, like, some people are going to enjoy it, they're going to enjoy it. I'm not, like, one of those people, and I don't want to, like, force that down people's throats.
All I need to put a smile on my face is a wrestling ring and a man named Norman Smiley any day. I could have the worst day and throw in like any retro thing with Norman Smiley and it'll cheer me up for some reason.
Oh, but my commentary won't cheer him up though.
Oh.
It does.
I didn't say put me into a vegetative state. I said cheer me up. No, I'm just kidding. I liked how we tweeted the gift. We had our little brainstorm session about making Wild Wayne Bates more southern, and I think it works.
It does.
You're damn right. You're damn Skippy right here on the Future of Wrestling podcast.
I picture like a 5'3" old little Southern man at like an auction with a gavel. That's what Wild Wayne Bates.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. We were talking about like how you guys were like they should pay him like 14, 15 million. I'm like, we need an auctioneer for Dolph Ziggler's career. I literally said that before. I was like, that's hilarious.
Mark and I wants to know if James, if you have a Winnie the Pooh impression.
Oh, Christopher Robin.
He does it better than me. I honestly forgot how Winnie the Pooh actually sounded like until Travis did it. So no, the answer to your question is probably not.
Well, you heard it from him right then and there. So, anything else you guys would like to talk about?
The Heffalump movie was really fucking good, actually. I remember that coming out in like the mid-2000s, and I took my daughter when she was really young. And I was like, Winnie the Pooh, I haven't seen that. And it was really good. Shout out to Heffalump.
Is this, is there a new Winnie the Pooh movie that came out or something?
I think it was like an anniversary, I think, of Winnie the other week or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And Brandon from Marking Out does like a badass dead Winnie the Pooh impersonation on Late Night with Broski.
I see. I see. That makes sense. So what? He's trying to test me on certain things he does, see if I can do them.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, I see.
But speaking of Hibiki Pro, I've heard some rumors that the tag team tournament will be starting soon, and I've heard the Ascension is coming back to their old gimmick. So, is this true, Travis, or is this bullshit from the news reporters?
It's true.
Damn. They're going back old school from NXT, huh? And I've heard the resurrection of the Colognes will be happening that night as well, when they face the Ascension.
It's also true.
And then, apparently Logan Myers has challenged Luke Gallows to a Falls Count Anywhere match due to the outside interference during him versus Finn Balor last week.
Oh yeah, it's true too.
And I've also heard rumors that the new general manager of Hibiki Pro has announced Rhino, Finn Balor, Carl Anderson will all be banned from ringside during that match.
Yeah, it's President Jim Tunney from Drink a Beer, Play a Game. He's going to have a video announcement this week in the state of Hibiki Pro. It's true.
Yep, so you heard it right here. So we have, for the very first time on Hibiki Pro, 2 matches will go down for the first time ever next week.
It's a great way to stay in shape.
It is. It's good for you.
That's what that reminded me of, Travis, when you just said it's true. It's true.
Everything Logan just said, I can confirm.
Yes.
Yep, and I've heard some rumors of some managers are coming back to, like, the managing position is resurrecting, so we're going to have some managers coming back, and, you know, it's not just going to be Rhino involved. So that's going to be good.
Sure is.
It's true.
It's true.
And then Carlito will be in the main event 2 weeks from today.
Oh my God! Stop talking about booking meetings on air. What are you doing?
You're giving away.
I'm just
giving away all the
It's teasing. It's teasing. You never know what Hibiki Pro is gonna do.
Here's something, because we haven't done any podcast, or I haven't done any podcasts. So I haven't talked wrestling on anything this week. Did you see the Charlotte Bobby Roode like on-screen love interest shit they're doing?
Oh dear God.
No, I know you haven't, James, but Logan, I'm just, my God, it's too much and it's bad.
They're doing. I know for a fact they're doing the same thing with Bliss and Strowman too. It's so fucking cringe. It's actually cringe. The mixed match challenge. Like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, it makes sense with Naomi and Jimmy or Jay, whatever the fuck Uso it is.
Okay, I got a debate. Here's a hot take. Everyone online is bitching about like the Sesame Street shit on like the mixed match challenge promos, where like the lettering pops up, the subtitles, like you know what I mean? It's unlike I'm saying. Yeah, I think that could be a good thing though for a promo with Shinsuke Nakamura, where he sounds like a deaf person, and it could enhance it. It could make his promos feel special. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. There you go. You probably both disagree that it's bad. It's necessary.
I like the Braun Strowman promos when he does it in the...
God damn it, Logan. Just disagree with me. We never disagree about anything.
I don't like it for the heels.
Okay. Thank you.
Because...
Yeah, I don't either.
Because they don't need a subtitle to come on the screen for them to... You know, that just doesn't sound right for a face to be having something like that. You know what I mean?
You know what? I can't stand the selfie promos.
You know what I just do when I see people arguing about it, though, in general? I take a step back and I go, we're arguing about subtitles. People are upset about subtitles at this point. It's that nitpicky with people. It's ridiculous. But I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's as bad.
It depends on what you do. Like for the New Day, it makes sense because they have a catchphrase and, like, it's colorful, whatever. But, like, I can understand where people are, like, frustrated where it's, like...
But they're watching it on Facebook, literally, where chat messages are popping up over the match they're watching, and then they're going to complain about subtitles over the fucking messages over the match. And then my mind just explodes. My head literally explodes at that point.
Yeah, it's whatever. But the thing I can't stand more so is, like, the fact that they do selfie promos now.
Right.
And then they have the subtitles over that, like, as if we can't fucking hear them. Like, dude, like, come on now.
I think it's just a thing where I hate selfie promos in general because they come off as that's the wrestler practicing before, like, what he would do backstage on his phone and watch it before he actually does it. So
no, like, here, I'll do it. Hey guys, I want a WWE Championship match. I'm holding up my phone, by the way, for those who can't see. I want a WWE Championship match. Just put some subtitles in there, and I should be good to go. All right, I'll see you on Tuesday.
Yeah.
There you go. I got a WWE Championship match, guys. I just got to edit it and subtitles. I'm good.
Hey guys, thank you for 400 followers again, or whatever. By the way, I'm going to win the belt this Sunday. Sorry, it's windy out here. Yeah, I'm going to kick your ass, Harley Race.
Can you imagine, like, Freaking Ric Flair and Harley Race just cutting selfie promos here in this day and age.
If you're gonna do a selfie promo, do it like sitting on your couch or just
Yeah,
chilling
right?
in your den, not driving or fucking swimming or whatever the fuck you're doing, eating, where it's hard to understand your promo. It comes off awkward. Just whatever. God, do it like a fucking vlog if you're gonna do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Your own personal vlog.
Yeah, like what Matt Hardy used to do. Like
it's fun when they do it on Twitter because it did really help for just the time being for like Mojo Riley.
Mojo Riley?
I mean, wow.
It's Riley and Mojo Rawley as a tag team.
Yes.
Ugh.
Great. Fucking great.
The
They're the same too.
Rage.
And then Mojo. It just.
And then Mojo what? You just trailed Mojo.
I'm saying.
Mojo.
They did the back and forth videos, back and forth to each other on Twitter, and it did get kind of the match over for the pre-show. But then, how far? You can't just go off of those little promos as like the main reason why you're feuding.
Yeah. Especially considering the fact it's like, dude, can they like have a reason for a feud? Didn't like this is Ryder and Raleigh we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, didn't this guy like stab his partner in the back? Did they really need to do selfie promos?
Well, like I said, it was fine when they did it on Twitter, but just don't show it on TV. Just let them do that stuff there and let them learn how to cut promos backstage or.
I can't picture Meng or the Barbarian cutting a selfie promo.
Mm-mm.
I can't either. Like for me, it's like
I can picture Meng trying to eat the phone.
I can't. I just don't like the fact that heels are the ones cutting promos on those like selfies and stuff.
You
like
know the
that.
selfie holders on the back of phones now?
Yes.
Like the circle. Imagine Meng trying to figure that shit out. He thinks it's an Oreo, and he tries to take it off. Oh,
I feel like it's like Road Dogg saw Tyler Breeze do it one day, and it's like, let's just have everyone do that.
It's so stupid.
That's what I feel like happened, because it's like why?
I think Road Dogg also gets a bad rap. I don't think he pulls all the strings for SmackDown. I think Road Dogg has had a couple great ideas, and word got out about that, and people, it's kind of that rumor that spreads type deal. By the time it gets to this person, to the next person, somehow he's running the whole ship. I don't think anything gets greenlit that doesn't go past McMahon or Uncle Paul.
Well, mainly McMahon. Yeah, the main
shit rolls downhill, and I
always
get it,
McMahon.
but I think Road Dogg gets it too hard for people. And I know I don't like Road Dogg. I think he's a condescending prick on Twitter with his God bless yous and then being an asshole to people 2 seconds later. So,
yeah.
But still, I don't think he deserves as much flack as he gets.
It made me laugh my ass off when I read his tweet. Somebody made a poll. I think it was on PWS or something, and they said, "Did you guys like SmackDown?" And he answered, "I gave it an A." I was like, "Of course you would."
Well, that was his joke, I guess.
But again, it, as you said, Travis, that just comes across as really condescending.
It made me laugh because everybody was replying, "You were wrong, sir. That SmackDown was trash." And
but yeah, I'm gonna hop off here. Like I said, just drive by, pop it in. Yeah, this was fun.
You guys, check out Hibiki TMD. He's great.
yeah,
Do it.
I think we're gonna completely end the show, Travis. So if you want to stay for just a second and plug your shit real quick.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean to pull a plug on the show. I was just gonna dip, but
No,
sure.
The show's, let's be honest, the show's been over for a while now. We've just been shooting the shit on other shit.
Yeah, and
So,
he's got to get
show
out of
ended
school.
like Hibiki Pro Talk, pretty much.
Yeah. And Wayne Keith Wrestling. Somehow.
At the Hibiki TMD on YouTube, all that good shit. First thing in the morning, Game Faith Today podcast. Never drew a dime. Someday coming back. Grapple Vision. Boom. Hibiki Pro. Everything.
Yep. Thank you, Travis. Go ahead.
Coming back this Thursday. How the fuck could I forget that? My bad again. Look forward to this Thursday. Sorry, Logan.
No, you're fine. James, go ahead.
You guys can check me out on YouTube. I might be posting a video on the channel, might not, but you can subscribe anyway. YouTube.com/user/jhebert95. You can also check out where I'm putting most of my work in, Weymouth Youth Wrestling, and that is youtube.com/user/WYW Pride, which is my wrestling CAW league. You guys can check all of that out and all the stuff that is on that channel. It's great. Riveting content, I would say.
Yes.
Great.
And Cruise Control returns with me, Colin, and maybe Travis on Tuesday night. And don't forget, Next Level on Wednesday night. So look for that as well. And you guys can check me out right there on Twitter at Logan Myers 144. Thank you guys for in the chat, whoever's still here and whoever was there. Thank you guys once again. And this has